What happens when Barron Trump, the son of one of the most famous families in the world, decides to give up his first-class seat for a veteran? What followed next left everyone on the flight completely stunned. This heartwarming act of kindness is proof that sometimes the smallest gestures carry the most powerful messages. Stay tuned to hear the full story. It was an ordinary day at the airport, with passengers rushing to board their flight from New York to Washington, D.C. The plane was bustling with the usual mix: business travelers, families, and a few solo passengers quietly settling into their seats. The first-class cabin was serene, its passengers enjoying the comfort of spacious seats and quiet luxury, while the rest of the plane buzzed with activity. As the final boarding calls were made, a sense of routine filled the air. No one suspected that a moment of kindness was about to transform this ordinary flight into something unforgettable. As the plane taxied down the runway, no one knew what was about to unfold. Before we get into this incredible moment, welcome to the channel. If you enjoy stories like this, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. Among the passengers was Barron Trump, the youngest son of former President Donald Trump. Despite his famous last name, Barron has always preferred to stay out of the spotlight. Known for his quiet demeanor and humble nature, he doesn't seek attention or try to live up to any public expectations. Instead, Barron has often been described as respectful, grounded, and mature for his age, qualities that set him apart from the typical high-profile child of a political family. As the passengers settled into their seats, Barron's attention was drawn to an elderly man boarding the plane. Dressed in a neatly pressed military uniform, the man moved carefully, carrying a small bag over his shoulder. His steps were slow, his posture slightly stooped, as if the weight of his years and his service rested heavily on him. He paused in the aisle, glancing at his ticket, seemingly searching for his seat in the crowded cabin. It wasn't hard to notice the quiet respect that others around him seemed to feel. Barron watched intently, recognizing that this was no ordinary passenger. This was a veteran, someone who had likely served his country with honor and sacrifice. Without hesitation, Barron made a decision that would leave everyone watching in awe. The veteran's uniform wasn't just clothing. It was a symbol of sacrifice, courage, and unwavering dedication. Every detail, the badges, the stripes, the insignia, told a story of a life lived in service to others. To Barron, and likely many others on the flight, this wasn't just an elderly man finding his seat. It was a reminder of the countless sacrifices made by those who wear the uniform: time away from family, physical challenges, and the bravery it takes to defend an entire nation. The respect and gratitude such a uniform commands are immeasurable, and Barron understood that. He wasn't just looking at a passenger. He was witnessing a hero. As the veteran slowly made his way down the aisle, Barron quietly stood up from his spacious first-class seat. Without drawing attention to himself, he walked over to the man with a calm and respectful demeanor. "Sir," Barron said softly, "please, take my seat. You deserve it far more than I do." The cabin fell silent for a moment as passengers turned to see what was happening. The veteran looked at Barron, his eyes wide with surprise and gratitude. At first he hesitated, trying to politely decline, but Barron insisted, gesturing warmly toward the seat. With a humble nod, the veteran accepted the offer, and Barron helped him settle into the comfortable seat. It was a small gesture, but the weight of its meaning was immense. The act wasn't about words or attention. It was about respect, gratitude, and acknowledging the man's service in the most thoughtful way possible. The cabin was momentarily still as passengers took in what had just happened. Some exchanged quiet glances, their faces a mix of surprise and admiration. A few smiled warmly, while others nodded in silent approval. Soon, the whispers began. "Did you see that?" someone murmured. "That was Barron Trump." Another passenger, sitting a few rows back, smiled and said, "That's what respect looks like." The veteran, now seated comfortably, looked back at Barron with deep gratitude, but Barron had already quietly moved to an economy seat without fanfare. The entire moment left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed it. It wasn't just an act of kindness, it was a lesson in humility and respect that resonated with everyone on board. As the veteran settled into the first-class seat, a ripple of emotion swept through the cabin. A few passengers began clapping softly, and soon, the entire first-class section joined in. The applause wasn't loud or overbearing. It was heartfelt, a collective acknowledgement of the meaningful gesture they had just witnessed. The veteran, clearly moved, turned back to Barron, who was now sitting in an economy seat. "Young man," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "Thank you. You didn't have to do that." Barron simply smiled and replied, "It's the least I could do, sir." As the flight continued, the veteran shared a little about himself with a nearby passenger. He spoke of his years in service, the friends he had lost, and the pride he felt for his country. His story touched those around him, reminding everyone of the sacrifices made by people like him. What made the moment even more remarkable was Barron's quiet demeanor throughout. He didn't seek attention or try to make the moment about himself. Instead, he set an example that left an entire plane full of passengers inspired by his kindness and humility. It didn't take long for the story to travel far beyond the walls of the airplane. A few passengers, deeply moved by what they had witnessed, shared the experience on social media. Photos and posts describing Barron's thoughtful gesture began to circulate, quickly gaining traction. "A simple act of kindness from a young man who understands the value of respect," one passenger wrote, attaching a snapshot of the veterans seated in first class. Another captioned their post, "Humility at its finest, a lesson for us all." The posts went viral, sparking headlines in major news outlets and discussions across online platforms. People praised Barron for his maturity and for using his privilege in such a selfless way. The story became more than just a moment on a plane. It turned into a global reminder of the power of kindness and respect. It showed that no matter who you are or where you come from, a small, thoughtful gesture can leave a lasting impact. This story is a powerful reminder that small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect far beyond what we imagine. Barron Trump's simple gesture of offering his seat wasn't just about comfort. It was a way of showing respect and gratitude to someone who had dedicated their life to service. In a world that often feels fast-paced and disconnected, moments like these remind us of what truly matters: empathy, humility, and honoring the sacrifices of others. It doesn't take much to make someone's day brighter or to inspire others to do the same. Kindness is contagious, and as this story shows, it can touch hearts and inspire change in ways we might never expect. This simple act of kindness teaches us all a valuable lesson about humility and respect. It's not about who we are or what we have, but about the compassion we show to others. So, the next time you see an opportunity to help someone or brighten their day, take it. You never know how far a small gesture can go, or how deeply it can touch someone's heart. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming tales like this. Your support helps us share stories that inspire and uplift. And before you go, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We love hearing from viewers all around the world. It truly brings us closer together. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.